Get out! This bank doesn't serve people like you." Those words reverberated through the grand marble halls of First National Bank, Manhattan. Alicia Thompson, a 48-year-old black woman in a sharp Armani suit, stood stunned at the polished mahogany counter. She'd entered the towering 40-story building on Park Avenue with a simple mission: open an account for her charity foundation. Instead, she faced the icy glare of Richard Mitchell, the branch manager, his lip curling with thinly veiled contempt. What Mitchell didn't realize was that he'd just insulted the CEO and 67% majority shareholder of Thompson Financial Group, the parent company of this very bank. He was clueless that in just 3 hours, her legal team would charge through those doors like a relentless force. He had no idea his words had ignited a battle that would shake the entire banking industry. Would you stand idly by if you were thrown out of your own bank? The morning sun cast dramatic shadows across the limestone facade of First National Bank, Manhattan. Its golden beams highlighted the elegant brass plaque reading, "A Thompson Financial Group Company." Alicia Thompson adjusted her sleek Hermes briefcase as she stepped out of her black Tesla Model S. The car's quiet hum contrasted sharply with the vibrant pulse of Park Avenue. At 48, she exuded the poised confidence of someone who'd built a $45 billion financial empire from a modest $10,000 loan 3 decades ago. Her rise from Chicago's housing projects to Manhattan's financial elite was a story of brilliance, grit, and a steadfast belief that excellence would triumph over prejudice. She was mistaken about that last part, at least with her own staff. The irony wasn't lost on her that she rarely visited her bank branches in person, opting for detailed reports and video calls to oversee operations. Today's visit was unique, a covert inspection disguised as a routine transaction to test the fairness policies she'd put in place. She never imagined she'd become the victim of her own bank's failures. As Alicia approached the gleaming glass revolving doors, she sensed a familiar shift in the air. The doorman's smile wavered briefly when their eyes met. The security guard's hand twitched toward his radio. These subtle slights were the constant hum of her career, so routine she'd honed a near-instinctive sense for them. But today, the hostility felt sharper, more intentional. She stepped through the doors into a soaring lobby of marble floors and sparkling chandeliers, a space crafted to awe as much as intimidate. The opulence screamed stability and success. To Alicia, though, it suddenly felt stark and unwelcoming. Several customers, all white, she noted, glanced up from their transactions, their stares lingering too long. She could almost hear their unspoken question. Does she belong here? The notion was absurd, yet tragic. She belonged more than anyone. She owned the place. Richard Mitchell strode from his glass office like a hunter spotting prey. "Ma'am, can I assist you?" His tone dripped with the condescension reserved for those he deemed unworthy. At 52, he was a seasoned banker who'd climbed the corporate ranks through skill and a keen grasp of the old boys' network. His office boasted golf trophies and photos of handshakes with white executives, a tribute to a fading world he clung to fiercely. He eyed Alicia's designer attire and luxury accessories with a practiced gaze, assuming her wealth couldn't possibly be legitimate, his judgment clouded by racial bias. "I'd like to open a personal account," Alicia said calmly, despite the rising tension. "A high-yield savings account for our foundation's expenses." Mitchell's eyebrows shot up. Whether in surprise or doubt, it was hard to tell. "A foundation?" he echoed, as if the idea was alien. "What kind of foundation exactly?" The slight pause before foundation carried a weight of insinuation, making Alicia's jaw clench. What followed was a textbook display of systemic bias. Each question grew more intrusive. Mitchell demanded documents not required for standard accounts: income proof, employment verification, detailed accounts of the foundation's mission and funding. When Alicia mentioned a $2 million initial deposit, his skepticism turned to outright disbelief. "I'll need extra verification for a deposit that large," he declared loudly, ensuring nearby customers overheard. "We have strict anti-money laundering rules, you understand?" Yet Alicia noticed the elderly white man at the next window, depositing $3.5 million with no scrutiny, handled by Mitchell's colleague, Susan Carter, with warm smiles and efficiency, a stark contrast to her own ordeal. "Of course," Alicia responded, keeping her cool while mentally cataloging every breach of federal banking laws. "I assume you require the same from all customers with large deposits?" Mitchell's awkward silence spoke volumes. The trap was set, though his prejudice blinded him to it. His next words would unravel his entire career. "Ma'am, please step aside while we verify your information," Mitchell said, motioning to a separate area off the main floor. The public humiliation was deliberate, meant to make her feel out of place. Customers stared as Alicia was ushered to what felt like a holding zone, reserved for those with suspect accounts. The message was unmistakable. She wasn't one of the regular customers. She didn't belong in this elite world of wealth. She was an outsider to be contained, not served. Susan Carter whispered to another employee, their glances toward Alicia laced with curiosity and disdain. John Harris, the security supervisor, lingered nearby, his stance suggesting readiness for trouble. The scene was a well-rehearsed act of exclusion, perfected by those who'd done this before, turning discrimination into a seamless routine for anyone deemed unfit who dared enter. For 27 minutes, Alicia waited in that isolated space as Mitchell made a spectacle of verifying her details. 27 minutes watching white customers served swiftly and respectfully. 27 minutes noting every face, every name tag, every violation of law. She discreetly recorded audio on her phone, legal in New York, knowing it would be crucial for the coming legal battle. She saw Mitchell confer with colleagues, their animated talk clearly about her, their glances ranging from suspicion to hostility. She witnessed the meticulous dance of institutional racism, how systems could exclude and demean while cloaked in professionalism. Yet she stayed calm, collected, and seething with resolve, channeling her fury into action. When Mitchell returned, his smug expression said it all. "I'm sorry. We can't assist you today," he said, relishing his perceived victory. "Your documents raise concerns we need to investigate further. Maybe you'd be better off at a community bank in your area. They're better suited for your needs." The phrase, "your area," hung like a slur, signaling she should stay with her kind and stop overreaching. Customers avoided eye contact, their unease clear as they witnessed an injustice they lacked the courage to challenge. Alicia rose slowly, locking eyes with Mitchell. "Let's be clear about what happened here," she said, her voice ringing across the lobby. "You're refusing me service based on what, exactly?" Mitchell's confidence flickered as his actions were publicly questioned. "Company policy," he muttered, a weak excuse for flagrant legal violations. Alicia nodded, storing his words. "I'll remember that," she said, heading for the exit. "Company policy." 3 hours later, those words would fuel his downfall. Stepping outside, Alicia grabbed her phone. Her first call was to Thomas Bradley, senior partner at Bradley and Associates, the city's fiercest civil rights law firm. "Tom, it's Alicia. Drop everything and meet me at my office in 30 minutes. Bring your discrimination team. Prepare for battle." Her tone was steady, but friends knew this calm heralded her most ruthless moves. The second call went to Emily Wong, Thompson Financial Group's chief legal counsel. "Emily, there's a problem at First National Manhattan. Start a full audit of their lending practices now. Pull 5 years of loan approvals, account openings, and complaints. break it down by race and ethnicity. The third call was to Michael Lopez, a trusted friend and top New York civil rights activist. "Michael, remember when you asked if I'd tackle systemic racism in banking? Today's the day." As her Tesla glided through Manhattan's streets, Alicia strategized the legal assault ahead. This wasn't just about personal vengeance, though she deserved it. It was about wielding her wealth and influence to dismantle the systems that humiliated her. She saw Mitchell's actions as a symptom of a broader disease plaguing the financial industry, blocking millions from the capital needed to build wealth. She was ready to fight, not just for herself, but for everyone told they didn't belong in a bank, denied loans for their skin color, or steered away from homeownership by biased practices. Her actions would transform not just First National Bank, but the entire sector. Bradley was waiting in her office with 6 attorneys, experts in banking law, civil rights, and class actions. "Tell me everything," he said. Alicia recounted the incident word for word, played her audio recordings, and described every person involved. The attorneys scribbled notes, exchanging looks that signaled a career-defining case. "This is textbook discrimination," Bradley said. "Equal Credit Opportunity Act, Fair Housing Act, Civil Rights Act. They broke nearly every law meant to stop this. But Alicia, your ownership of the bank adds a twist I've never seen. This isn't just discrimination, it's a corporate governance failure." Emily Wong, silent until now, leaned forward grimly. "It's worse," she said, opening her laptop. "Preliminary audit data shows a clear pattern. Over 5 years, First National Manhattan denied 73% of black customers' loan applications versus 12% for white customers with similar credit. The odds of this being random are 0. While the legal team planned their attack, Alicia retreated to her office, gazing out at Manhattan's skyline. The view reminded her of her climb from Chicago's projects. Her parents, her father a janitor, her mother a home health aide, taught her that hard work and excellence would overcome any barrier, that America valued talent over skin color. She'd believed them, enduring slights as the cost of entry to a world not built for her. Each success, she thought, paved the way for others. But today, she saw her naivety. Owning a $45 billion company, employing thousands, gracing Fortune's cover, none of it spared her from being just another black woman in Mitchell's eyes. The clarity was freeing. If excellence, wealth, and power weren't enough, the system itself had to be raised and rebuilt. 2 hours after leaving the bank, Alicia was ready to return, but not alone. Bradley's team included federal prosecutors, regulators, and civil rights investigators. Emily Wong had amassed evidence to bury the bank in lawsuits. Michael Lopez rallied activists and media to amplify the story. Alicia's ace, though, was unexpected. She'd give Mitchell one last chance to do right, testing if his bias was policy or personal. His inevitable failure would seal the case against him and the culture he represented. Her return to First National Bank was pure theater. At 3:47 p.m., during the bustling afternoon rush, Alicia strode through the revolving doors, dressed as before, her professional smile unwavering. To onlookers, she was just finishing her earlier transaction. But Bradley's investigators, hidden in the lobby, recorded every moment with cameras and mics. Across the street, a command center coordinated with federal agents holding search warrants. Mitchell's bias wouldn't stay in the dark. It would be exposed to the world. Alicia approached the same counter, no longer the victim, but the predator. "Good afternoon," she said brightly as Mitchell appeared, his face showing irritation. "I'd like to continue our morning discussion." Mitchell's expression darkened, his instincts flaring. "Ma'am, as I said, we can't help you today. Please leave." The words mirrored his earlier dismissal, now captured by 6 devices, and dozens of onlookers sensing something big. "I'm curious," Alicia said, her voice clear across the lobby. "Which company policy bars me from service? What specific criteria are you using?" Mitchell squirmed, caught in a public challenge, but his arrogance prevailed. "We reserve the right to refuse service to those who don't meet our standards," he said, dooming himself. In the command center, Bradley grinned as Mitchell's words cemented their case, recorded with prosecutors listening. "Interesting," Alicia said, hiding her triumph. "What standards?" "I'd hate for other customers to be unclear about their welcome here." She gestured to the staring crowd. Mitchell, cornered, couldn't back down. "Look, lady, I don't know what game you're playing. This is a respectable place. We serve quality clients, not troublemakers." Quality clients hung like a noose, its bias clear. Customers shifted, some recording, as Mitchell crafted his own ruin in real time. "I see," Alicia said, nodding. "So quality comes down to what? Appearance, background, race?" The word race landed like a scalpel, forcing Mitchell to deny or double down. He chose wrong. "You know what I mean," he snapped, his facade cracking. "This bank has a certain clientele, a standard, and you don't fit. Leave, or I'll call security." His prejudice was now bare for all to see. Alicia made a call that changed everything. "Tom, it's time." Across the street, Bradley signaled the legal onslaught. Federal agents stormed in, badges flashing under chandeliers. Regulators sealed Mitchell's office, seizing files. Investigators interviewed witnesses. In minutes, First National Bank became a crime scene, with Mitchell at its heart. But Alicia wasn't done. Amid the chaos, she pulled a leather portfolio from her briefcase, holding documents Mitchell should have recognized. "Before this goes further," she said, her voice slicing through the noise, "you should know who you've been discriminating against." She revealed corporate papers, SEC filings, and board resolutions. "I'm Alicia Thompson, CEO and chairman of Thompson Financial Group, this bank's parent company, and 67% shareholder. I'm not just your customer, I'm your boss." The words struck Mitchell like a blow, his face cycling through shock, realization, and fear. He discriminated against his bank's owner on camera before federal agents and witnesses. The lobby buzzed with stunned realization. Alicia continued, her authority honed in countless boardrooms. "For 3 years, Thompson Financial Group has owned this bank, enforcing equal treatment policies. Today, I came as a regular customer to test them. I found discrimination so blatant it violates every civil rights law protecting consumers." Pointing at Mitchell, frozen in shock, she said, "This man didn't just deny a black customer service, he denied the black woman who signs his paychecks and controls this bank." As agents read Mitchell his rights, Alicia delivered the final strike. Effective immediately, Richard Mitchell is fired for violating company policy, federal laws, and basic decency. Susan Carter and John Harris are also terminated for their roles. But this isn't just about them. It's about a racist culture infecting this bank and others nationwide. She addressed the silent crowd. "What happened here happens daily across America's banks. People are denied services, loans, and dignity because of their skin. Today, the victim just happened to own the bank." The irony hit hard. Mitchell's attempt to exclude Alicia had excluded him from the industry he thought he ruled. As agents led Mitchell away, the legal fallout began. The DOJ launched a probe into all 127 First National branches. The OCC imposed massive fines. The New York Fed audited Thompson Financial's compliance. 12 states opened investigations. Congressional hearings were set. Bradley's firm filed a $2.3 billion class action for 340 discriminated customers, seeking sweeping reforms. Mitchell's downfall went viral. Banking While Black trended as thousands shared similar stories. CNN, MSNBC, and FOXNEWS covered the unprecedented case. The Wall Street Journal's headline read, "When the owner gets owned, systemic racism at corporate heights." Mitchell became unemployable, his loan called, his wife filing for divorce, his club membership revoked, his licenses suspended, his accounts frozen. In 6 months, he was a cautionary tale, proof no one could discriminate without consequence. The bank investigation revealed pervasive bias. Training materials used coded language to profile customers. Emails showed managers joking about excluding undesirables. Black customers were 347% more likely to be denied loans than white peers. Hispanic and Asian customers faced similar bias. The discrimination was embedded in policies and culture, invisible to those not targeted. Judge Elizabeth Harper's court set new precedents, exposing biased AI in banking systems. Experts showed how neutral policies disproportionately harmed people of color. Economists pegged the bank's bias at $45 million in lost community opportunity. The trial dissected institutional racism and capitalism, with Alicia's case as its centerpiece. The ruling was scathing: $850 million in damages, 5 years of federal oversight, mandatory anti-bias training, and diversity overhauls. It made suing banks easier and exposed algorithmic bias. Mitchell got 2 years in prison and $2.3 million in restitution, though bankruptcy made payment unlikely. The industry transformed overnight. Banks audited practices. The ABA issued anti-discrimination guidelines, and regulators tightened bias checks. New AI tools and laws fought discrimination, and universities launched inclusion programs. Alicia's case showed racism reached even the powerful, inspiring other executives to speak out. She launched the $100 million Thompson Initiative, funding anti-bias research, legal aid, and scholarships. She partnered with HBCUs, mentored diverse leaders, and pushed for equitable banking. Regulatory frameworks evolved, with the Fed, OCC, and CFPB tackling bias. Tech firms built tools to catch discrimination in real time. Universities created programs blending finance, tech, law, and justice. Media dug into structural bias, sparking more lawsuits. The case became a cultural touchstone, showing individual courage could drive change. Alicia reflected on the progress and the long road ahead. Her wealth didn't shield her from racism, but it gave her a platform to fight it. Despite personal costs, threats, scrutiny, strained relationships, she turned pain into progress. The Thompson Initiative grew, mentoring underrepresented entrepreneurs and strengthening civil rights. The industry saw less racial disparity, better access for minorities, and improved bank performance. Alicia's fight proved discrimination was not just wrong, but foolish, risking legal and financial ruin. It showed millions they weren't alone, that change was possible, that courage could reshape systems. The woman told she didn't belong had ensured everyone did, regardless of identity. Mitchell's petty act had backfired, costing him his world while opening doors for millions. Alicia Thompson, underestimated and humiliated, proved no one is powerless with the courage to fight.